This is Fox Sports Radio, AM 1280 Rochester.
Hey, folks, welcome to our weekend edition of What's Going On in the Experience here on Fox Sports 1280 and iHeartMedia. And my name is Nate Brown Jr., and I'm in the building today with my man Ryan V. down in NYC. Greg V. is taking a sabbatical. Greg Vaughn, a Major League Baseball player who's our contributor and our co-host. So, Ryan, I am in Atlanta. I'm in ATL.
That's right, down south for the week.
I'm down south for the week and hanging with my brothers, doing some other stuff. So I'm coming from Atlanta for you guys today. And actually, it's nice today. It's about 75 already, dude.
Beautiful. Yeah, there's something different about the southern fall. It's still kind of summery. It's like an Indian summer here in New York.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing down south this time of year. Beautiful place to be.
But speaking of a beautiful place to be, we're here on Fox Sports 1280, and the Toronto, the Blue Jays were in a beautiful place to be the other evening, Ryan. Everybody thought the Dodgers was going to do another 4-game sweep, but Toronto had news for you.
That's right. Yeah, it didn't end well for Dodgers fans, and for us that made our predictions thinking that the Dodgers would win in a clean sweep. But man, Nate, those bats are hot. Vladdy's bat, historic. I mean, Addison Barger. The guy's unbelievable with that pinch hit home run. Toronto's just on a roll, and everybody's thinking that it's the sign stealing that's going on, but it's not. I did a little deep dive into it. It's not just that the bats are hot, Nate. And I want to be one of the ones to actually break what's actually happening behind the scenes in that Blue Jays hitting camp, and that's the Traject Arc by Traject Sports. So essentially, we talk all about AI now, right? Well, the Blue Jays and a handful of other MLB teams are really taking advantage of AI. There's a robotic pitching machine system that uses high precision data and video to replicate real-life Major League pitching.
So in other words, they simulate what it looks like to be in real time while you're at the plate.
It replicates the pitcher's speed, the spin access of the ball, the seam orientation, the break and trajectory.
The rotation of the
bat,
of the baseball.
That's right. I mean, this is as close as you can possibly get to replicating an actual pitcher. So these guys are going into it more than prepared for Shohei Ohtani, for Blake Snell. As we saw, they just ate Blake Snell up.
They ate Blake Snell for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
What really threw me out the first time, and I know there's a little bias, but when I saw the way that they shelled Max Fried, I thought to myself, this seems like almost reminiscent of the 2017 ALCS, but it doesn't seem as though it's banging on trash cans. These guys just have technology that's able to really put them ahead. So, really more power to the Blue Jays and their organization, right? I guess they really spent their money wisely. You hear about how much money that team generates by being the only team in Canada, being tied to that network. They're using their money wisely up there.
So, in other words, they're taking the AI situation, looking at it from a holistic standpoint of, okay, how do we simulate a real game? How do you guys get in that batter box? And if you see these certain pitches coming, you know ahead of time how to make that adjustment. So now, what do we do with the pitchers if we simulate that situation? How do they get to those batters? What do they look at? How they swing? Do they first pitch swing? You see what I'm saying? So now if I'm a pitcher, how do I counteract? Okay, you got my number. How do I get my number back in that situation using AI in a situation like that, Ryan? What do you think? I mean, how does that equal itself and balance it out?
Well, I mean, we know how these analytics nerds are. I'm sure that they're already putting information out there. Each team hires professionals that should be doing just that let them know what the tendencies are of each of the hitters. I'm not sure if there's an actual machine
algorithm for that yet. There's an algorithm for that one,
but I'm sure there is. In baseball, there's an algorithm.
After listening to me and you today, trust me, somebody's going to go out there and develop and say, "Hey, how do we help the pitchers along now?" And because think about it, if you look at this whole technology situation, because they even break it down in basketball, because we talk about that too. They figure out, the percentages on shots in the whole nine. And I think that's why we'll talk about the Knicks later. Well, they're going to up their shot production with 3 points. And what they're saying, hey, we should make more based upon whatever analytics they're looking at. But I think baseball is interesting because you have a few factors: pitching and hitting. Okay, pitching and hitting. So if I got the pitching down pat, now I got to go and see what's happening with these hitters.
That's right. I'm sure that defense will be a lot easier to improve with AI, having the ball shot out at certain speeds. And I mean, look, like you got to use technology to your advantage. And this isn't cheating. So to me, I don't think there's anything wrong with what the Blue Jays are doing. In fact, I tip my hats to them. If there was one way to counteract all of the money being spent on actual
You have
players, well,
to.
it's technology, right?
You
Like
have
you
to.
find some way to train your players to be better, at least allocate the money that way. So,
But I'm saying you have to counteract, like you just said. If the Dodgers and the silly behind Mets are spending all this money, and their outcome, particularly the Mets and the Yankees, are like, you're not going anyplace. So why not maybe spend less bucks on that, more bucks on the analytics? And if I get the right kind of players based upon my analytics a little bit more, maybe I might do a little bit better, and not have to pay an exorbitant amount of money for players that I could probably vet through this kind of analytic system. I don't know, but all I know is this: there's no sweep, thank goodness, because I couldn't take another one of those. And you and I both said that, and this is why I miss Greg today. I believe Toronto is going to beat the Dodgers. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe they're going to beat them because I think they took their heart a little bit this first game. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Can the Dodgers recover from this? And if they do, Ryan, what can they do?
I would say absolutely. I would say that the Dodgers are head and shoulders above the Toronto Blue Jays. I still think their lineup's better. I know there's a lot of people that think that the Toronto Blue Jays have a better lineup than the Dodgers, but I just simply disagree. I think it's a matter of time before the bats wake up. They were still able to at least put 4 runs up after they were devastated like that. It ain't over till it's over. In the wise words of Yogi Berra, I do think that the Dodgers are still going to win this thing. It is great, though, to see some kickback and not an absolute destruction of the American League team that's set to face the Dodgers this year. Like we saw last year, was a spanking. I know we took one game, but it was embarrassing. So I don't know. I'm sorry, Nate, but the pitching and the rotation that they have to put Yamamoto out there tonight, I think tonight is the most important game of the series. Gosman.
I think if Toronto wins tonight, I'm being honest with you, it's going to be hard because 2 games are in Toronto. So if they get Yamamoto or whatever that guy's name is and spank him up tonight, the Dodgers got to go back to Chevers Ravine and try to recoup because they're not getting swept, I don't think. But if Toronto put it on them tonight, Ryan, it's going to be something interesting.
They need to put it on them tonight. Toronto needs to leverage their arms. I mean, they already had Dominguez out there and Bassett last night.
Yep.
And that's the biggest issue right now in Toronto is, do they have enough arms out there to go for 7 games against the Los Angeles Dodgers? It will be nice to see Max Fried out there. And I'm sorry, not Max Fried, Max Scherzer out there, to see the resurgence of Scherzer back in the World Series has been nice. But no, I do think that overall LA is just too strong. And they've got Shohei out there. Another game that will really hang on is game 4 when Shohei's out there started.
Now, Shohei's bat was quiet last night.
He still hit that home run.
But I'm just saying, I mean, in reference of, the way we look at Shohei, like, okay, 3 home runs, dude, that's, you set that up, not me, okay? So I'm looking for 2 or 3 dingers every game from the brother. But yes, he hit that 1 home run, but he didn't explode like he usually can.
That's true. And I guess it was kind of in garbage time, but for what it's worth, I still think we're going to see some historic Shohei performances. Game 4 is what I'm most excited about, to see potentially another gem of a game where who knows, maybe he will have 10 strikeouts. Maybe he will have 3 home runs. I'm not sure. We'll see. Once again, it's when they get to the middle of the rotation that the Blue Jays are going to have a problem, and even the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
But to give you a little bit of perspective here, even Tanner Scott didn't make the World Series cut. So, I mean, the Dodgers are just so stacked, bottom to top. It's going to be tough, but it was nice to see an upset in game one.
Well, I like that. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk some NFL football. We're going to talk about the Bills. I want to talk about the Bills for a second because I need to know what you think because you're a Bills fan, even though you're not from it. But you're a Josh Allen guy. I need to know where the Bills are going. Is the window really, really close to them? We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Fox Sports 1280, what's going on? Nate Brown Jr., Ryan Verneuille. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, welcome back to our second edition of What's Going On the Experience here on Fox Sports 1280 and iHeart Media here in Rochester, New York. Hey, Ryan, man, tell the folks about Zoe's down in the Hamptons and how you're doing some phenomenal things down there.
You know, it is really cool to be a part of this, Nate, because I was in the restaurant business growing up. I did everything I could to escape the restaurant business. But Zoe's, it's so much more than a restaurant. Most people read the articles that came out and they think that it's just another Ham's restaurant. But Zoe is a networking club and a private member club, more specifically, that hosts professional athletes and musicians and tech billionaires, all types of wonderful people that are like-minded, want to get to know one another, or have a private exclusive getaway out in the Hamptons. We've got sister clubs all over the country. So go to zoehamptons.com to learn more about this exclusive private member club in which you're a part of, I'm a part of. And man, I'll tell you now, Nate, anywhere we go, we have the access of our great concierge service. So we get discounts on our flights. Say we go to Las Vegas to visit Greg. We'll have discounts on hotels, flights, tickets to different events that are
so how do we get our listeners to partake in this fabulous opportunity?
All you really got to do is go to zoehamptons.com and read all about the concierge service. That's a great place to start. Even if you're in Rochester,
right,
you can still apply to see if you can become a member because it ain't up to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to Chris. It's up to Lance. It's up to all three of us, really. Mm-hmm. It's a collective effort here.
Got you.
But it's a really great thing. Everybody that's listening right now, just to learn more about it and see what we've got going on out in the Hamptons, check it out. And of course, it's a proud supporter of what's going on here on Fox Sports.
And that's Rochester. Why we really appreciate you guys for doing that, man. Speaking of supporters, I've been giving the Bills the business. I don't know for how long, but probably since the 60s.
Okay. I mean, you normally have to. Before a guy named Josh Allen came around.
Before Josh even showed up, I was giving the Bills the business. So I want to ask you, as a Josh Allen fan, and you follow the Bills too, do you think the windows is closing for the Buffalo Bills? And if not, what the heck are they going to do, and how could they climb back into this thing?
They're 4-2.
They're out of it, but
they're 4-2.
Right.
Honestly, I think that the Bills are just fine. It wasn't a super hot offense the last 2 weeks, but that is football, right? It's not like every single week you're going to come out super hot. There's not one team that's that dominant this year. Look at the Eagles.
That's true.
Look at the Chiefs. So do I think that the window is still open? It's wide open. It's well open for Josh Allen to prove himself and earn that first Super Bowl. And it could very well be the year.
Okay, so they got to play the Carolina Panthers on Sunday, man. And the Panthers
and guess what? The Bills, after a bye week since 2017, they win every single time under Coach McDermott. They're 8-0. They're playing the Panthers. I've got a good feeling about this week, Nate. I think that this is a perfect week to get back in the swing of things if you're the Buffalo Bills. Bryce Young, I'm pretty sure, is going to miss week 8 is what they're saying. He might miss this week, which means that Andy Dalton's going to start. So the Bills might just have some fun winning.
They'll get 50 points on them. Okay. Andy Dalton. Okay.
And what do you say his name? Ogunjobi. I didn't even say his name. But our defensive tackle's back. Michael Hoke. They're both off suspension. They're coming back to bolster the front line. I got a good feeling this week for the Buffalo Bills. I can't, however, say the same for some of our other New York teams. And by that, I mean, of course, the New York Jets, your New York team.
Well, let's transition there because that's really a smooth transition and a no-brainer. Because as someone said on the show 3 weeks ago, they might very well go 0-17. I'm looking at the rest of their schedule, and then doesn't look good. It just does not look good. And I don't know if they can sneak by and get one. They got to play the Bengals. But, I mean, the Bengals with Joe Flacco, I'll take any day, all day. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Look, this could have been the win they had. If you were looking at the schedule when Burrow went down, if you're a Jets fan, you look at this as maybe the week they can at least muster up one measly win. But then they went and got Joe Burrow. The Bengals now have a real quarterback.
A real quarterback. So
Yeah,
I don't see if the Jets win one game, I'll be surprised. I'll just say that seriously.
Now, Nate, I got to ask you this: they're already giving up hope. Coach Glenn is giving up hope in Justin Fields. They're already talking about a new quarterback for this week. They're not sure if they're even going to throw Justin Fields back out there again. Who would you rather have, Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields?
Listen. Honestly, I watch all the Jet games. Justin Fields will never learn how to get rid of the quarterback, get rid of the football fast enough. He has no quarterback acumen. I'm sorry. And it's such, and I hate to sound like that, but the dude is not a quarterback. He is not a quarterback.
Those are some strong words, Nate.
He's not a quarterback.
You're telling me that Justin Fields, I know that he goes from team to team and craps the bed.
Right now, he's a quarterback. You
don't think it has something fundamentally to do with the Jets? The fact?
No, because you can't run all the time. You got to throw. Hell, even your boy, what's his name, Lamar Jackson, know that. You got to throw the football. So you got to throw the football. He's terrible at not even throwing. He can't even throw it because he holds the ball too long. He holds the ball longer than Jalen Brunson used to hold the ball for the Knicks. Okay, so that's my analogy right there. He holds the ball entirely too long. As long as you do that, you're going to get sacked. You don't know how to go through your progressions. He's a scrub quarterback now. I'm not saying that he won't become good later on. Like, hey, Sam Darnold, I don't know. Right about now, the Vikings are like, did we blow it? Did we really blow it? We got rid of Sam Darnold and the other guy that's playing good for Indianapolis. He's with the Giants, your boy, Daniel Jones. They had them both. Now the Vikings are like, oh my God, what did we do?
Not smart.
Because what they did was they put all their eggs in the AJ, whatever the guy's name, basket. He can't stay on the field.
Which makes no sense. Honestly, like J.J. McCarthy he was a great college quarterback, played well for Michigan. I don't see it. There's some guys that you see the way that their game translates, and you kind of know before they step foot on an NFL field if it's worth giving up a quarterback that you know is already successful and developed because they wanted to be cheap. The fact they let Sam Darnold, it's one thing for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones hadn't proven himself yet. Daniel Jones played terribly in New York. He made me want to rip what's left of my hair out of my head.
That's true.
But Sam Darnold was an all-pro quarterback, I believe, last year. He was a Pro Bowl quarterback. Definitely a despicable move. And definitely not good. So once again, for our prediction for the Jets, I'm going to go and agree with you on this one. I don't think they stand a chance. I think that the Bengals also have the home field advantage. They were breaking records. Flacco was throwing the ball better to Burrow's receivers at points than Burrow was. I'm very excited to see, and I'm also excited to see how Burrow develops watching Flacco play and see what he can learn from him. I think the Bengals might have made one of the greatest moves in the NFL season so far.
It looks like it could be a game changer for them because at the end of the day, you said the NFL is wide open, and it really is because there's no clear-cut Super Bowl person, team, or whatever coming out the way I look at it. There's no dominant squad right about now. It looks the playing field looks very even. Kansas City is coming back. I don't see the Ravens doing anything. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this, if they do, they might do something, but I don't see the Ravens doing anything. I just really don't.
They better tank at this point.
I think the Ravens are going to tank. I think they're going to have to because, what's left of the season for them? They're not going to make the playoffs. But I do think for you and your Giants, if they could just learn how to listen, I am so excited about the Giants.
Even after the most historic collapse.
Even after they gave 33 points in one quarter, I don't care.
That's because you're not a Giants fan, man. That was beyond disgraceful, beyond embarrassing.
The Giants are on the precipice. I'm telling you, dude. You have to give that kind of game they needed to do to give up because they understand. Okay, we are good. We just got to finish the game.
Just a shame they couldn't finish the game last week because it was that important for us to stand a chance. Because this is the week that we've all been waiting for. The Giants are going to Philadelphia.
Yep.
This is going to be a revenge game. If you're Saquon Barkley, the way that you just got spanked, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, the way that you just got outplayed in every way against the New York Giants, this is where they're coming out with a bang. They're about to gut the New York Giants after what just happened in the fourth quarter. Unless, of course, the Giants come out with some fire under their ass. I mean, Jackson Dart was the only part of it that wasn't disappointing. And we scrapped our kicker that blew the game for
You
us.
had to. The dude,
McCarthy,
he blew 2 extra points and 2 missed field goals, 3-pointers. I'm
embarrassing.
Like, so
absolutely embarrassing.
You left 8 points on the board in which you clearly won that game. That's why I said I'm excited for the Giants. They clearly won that game to me. Yeah, Drake May did his thing. He came back. The Patriots won. But if you're a Giants fan, you're like, okay, man, because without the Giants in the past, you wouldn't even been in the game. I don't know why you wouldn't even been in the game.
But a win in Denver would have more than likely led to us having enough momentum and a good enough record to maybe even squeeze into the playoffs. I mean, we have to win this game against Philadelphia. If we win this game against Philadelphia, it's not like a must win. The Giants are make or break. But I think that this would be easily. I mean, it's one thing to beat Philadelphia in New York, which is apparently nearly impossible.
Philly in Philly,
but to beat them in Philly, yeah, this is our chance to really.
That's kind of monumental for the Giants in this day and age where they've been playing.
This is more of a must win for Philadelphia than it is for the Giants, and that's why I fear Week 8 for the New York Giants, because Philadelphia, they need a statement win right now badly.
And you know what though, Ryan? And they starting to click too. To be honest with you, the Eagles, because remember now, everybody once they get your number, because they all keying in on Saquon, right? So, and I don't think my man Hurt used his receivers the best way he could have the first part of the season. So now it's kind of sinking in. They ain't gonna give Saquon what he had last season. We got to reconfigure this whole thing. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk some basketball, some mob. Like, say it ain't so, Chauncey. Say it ain't so, Chauncey. But it might well be. And by the way, is Gilbert Arenas a snitch? We'll be right back. Fox Sports 1280. What's going on? We're gonna tell you what's going on. I can't wait. Hey, folks, welcome back to our third segment of What's Going On in the Experience here on Fox Sports 1280 with my man Ryan V down in NYC, the Hamptons. I'm Nate Brown Jr., and I am on the road this weekend, and I am in Atlanta, ATL. The traffic here is insane, Ryan. You've been to Atlanta before, right?
I have. And it's a dangerous set of roads if you're somebody like they come after you for marijuana in ATL. You can drive around with an assault rifle on your lap. But if you have a joint in your mouth,
you can't have a doobie, but they'll let you shoot somebody.
Pretty much, yeah.
They'll let you. I'm going, how ass backwards is this place? But speaking of ass backwards, what is going on with my brethren in sports? Why? First of all, you and I said this, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago. You're going to get set up as long as you get connected to all these casinos. Remember you and I said this, Ryan? Sports betting, FanDuel. What the hell do you expect if you give 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 25-year-old young guys a whole bucket load of money? You don't think they're going to gamble?
I don't know. I'd say at 36, I take the money before when I was 19. I think the older you get, the easier it is to be corrupted.
That's probably it, right?
As we just learned with an NBA Hall of Famer. But we have an expert to bring on next segment to really, really peel back the layers on this whole thing, because it's deeper than sports. And we need an expert in not just committing, but solving crimes. And that's where one of my dear friends in life, Officer Mike Dowd, comes in. I'm very excited to bring Mike Dowd on to what's going on. Yeah. Also a diehard Mets fan, just like you. But before we do, we need to break down these New York Knicks. Nate, I need to know, is this actually the year? Could it be the year that the Knicks are finally hoisting the NBA championship the first time in 50 years almost? What do you think?
As I told you and my esteemed colleague, Greg Vaughn, I am going to reserve until after the All-Star break. Now, I'm excited. Am I excited? Yes, I am. However, the way basketball goes, because even the other night, OG Anunoby fell on his ankle all weird, and they would have to take him off. I'm like, okay, so you can't say who's going to win what now because it's kind of early. However, do they look good? They look good. Do they have a bench? They got a bench. Do they have a coach that knows how to use the bench and everybody? I think so. Okay. Has the team bought into this concept? Yeah, because even though Brunson scored 30 something the other night, it wasn't like he was a forced 30 something. Okay. It was very fluent. When the bench comes into play, they continue. As a matter of fact, they were playing the Celtics. They were up by something like 20. Bench came in, still sustained it for them. They might have been down by 10 or 12, but back in the day, they would have been tied up or something, knowing that, you know what I mean? They would have just. So now I'm liking how Mike Brown uses the bench more than anything else, and how he gives those starters an opportunity. Because the other night, Big Cat looked like a big center that was going down the middle. He wasn't just settling for threes. I'm like, dude, you're like 6'11", 7 foot. Can't nobody guard you in the hole. Just go down there. So with that being said, Ryan, I'm excited, but I'm not overly like crazy until I get to the All-Star break. When I get to the All-Star break, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like you said, OG, the concern with him always is him getting hurt.
You know it.
And to see how well he played and then just to limp off the court midway through the fourth quarter, it's, oh, great. Here we go again.
That's what I said last night. I was like, oh, not again. Okay.
But I agree. I like how Mike Brown is utilizing the bench. Do you see a difference? You mentioned the difference in Karl Anthony Towns, but just in the Knicks defense in general.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they played good D last year, but this year, because they was able to put Mikal Bridges at the 3 and put OG at the 4, and then start Deuce McBride, which I think is a tremendous thing to do. I mean, I love Josh Hart, but starting Deuce McBride with Jalen and then bringing Josh off the bench, to me, that's a great plan for the Knicks. And then I can't think of the little white kid. What's his name? Kohler. That boy's nasty. He's a guard. He nasty. He come off
fan
the
favorite. You always need a little white boy on the New York Knicks.
Listen, man,
sell those jerseys out.
Every team needs a TJ McConnell. What did I tell you before? Every team needs a Steve Nash, a Steve Kerr. I don't care. You need a diehard cat that ain't scared of nobody because they can play ball too. Just because my U was a little lighter than yours doesn't mean I can't hoop. And they got to have an attitude. So my whole thing is that kid comes in the game, I think it's Tyler or whatever, has a little attitude, and he goes to the cup. And if that was Tom Thibodeau, if the dude had missed 2 shots, he would have pulled him out. See, Mike Brown allows them to miss a couple of 3 shots and get in the rhythm. He don't just yank them like, oh, get out the game. No, dude, I can't. I got to get in the rhythm. So, and then Landry Shampard, last but not least, him and that big kid, number 55. I can't think of his name. They got another kid, 51. I call him Junior Pasquale Siakam. He's from
Diawara, I think is how you say
exactly. So the Knicks got a nice little crew. Let's just hope they don't get hurt. And I don't know what's going on with Mitchell Robinson because he's another one that can't stay on the court.
Once again, injuries and the Knicks I feel like it's going to be the reoccurring story of the season. Unfortunately, synonymous. Now, when it comes to Tyler Kolek, yeah, they've got a deeper team than they usually have. I like Tyler Kolek, like you said. Now, here's my question. Jordan Clarkson, who he was the NBA Sixth Man of the Year, 2020, 2021. How important is it for him to get back to his prior form? Because we've kind of seen him on the decline over the past 4 years. And now here he is on the Knicks. He hasn't really gotten off to the best start. What do you look at him as like how important is Jordan Clarkson as an X factor for the New York Knicks?
Well, like I said, he's got to get his rhythm and he's got to get comfortable. So the other night he was doing the Jordan Clark thing, and I call it Jordan Clark / Stephen Curry. Like, dude, what are you pulling for? It's 35. Because he'll do that. He'll come down. It'll be a free lane. He'll pull. I'm like, homie, slow up. So I'm hoping that he gets the memo. Okay. You can take the threes because that's what he's encouraging you to do. Mike Brown, but you got to take him when you know you have a better chance of making them. You just can't come down and just fire. I don't think Mike Brown wants that. And I think Jordan Clarkson is used to just coming down and just boom. No. Let's get it around the horn. And if you got it, just shoot it. So if he can get that, he'll be all right. I think the Knicks will be okay. Like I said.
And especially, Nate, because we talk about all these injuries. What's the way to preserve your players? Spread the minutes around a little
Right,
bit.
you got to spread the
Don't
minutes.
overwork these guys so much.
Yeah. And I'm
So,
gonna tell you, Boston didn't look half bad, even though the Knicks beat them. The Celtics didn't look bad. They do miss our boy. What's the big guy?
Tatum. I mean,
They're
not
not Tatum, the
go
other
far.
one. They missed Tatum, but they missed. He went to Golden State.
Was it Horford?
Horford, Al Horford. They missed him.
I mean, he's been a staple of Boston, really. For
you can see
7
that
years.
game. Even if they didn't have Tatum, having Horford there would have still given them some cushion.
But you're only going to go as far
as
great as Jaylen Brown's. You're only going to go as far as Jason Tatum takes you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. So I mean, this is if the Knicks do have a year to at least get to the NBA Finals. I mean, it really is disappointing that they lost to the Pacers the way they did. And now you see the Pacers out this year. They don't have their superstar, and you just see it's a fractured team. They lost their center, who they've had forever. So if the Knicks are going to do it, this is going to be the year that they do it. So we'll see what happens here next.
Well, and on the flip side of that, right? And we said this, I think, last week. How good I think can the not San Diego, but the San Antonio Spurs be? Okay, because remember now, OKC won back-to-back overtime games. That's the first time in history of the NBA where the NBA champ went back-to-back 2 overtimes. And I think one was triple overtime and double overtime. So OKC knows everybody's coming for them. They're going to play their best 7th game against OKC. So as we see OKC maneuver through this, who do you think will be their nemesis coming out of the West?
I think long-term, you hit it right on the head. It's San Antonio. I think right now, it's the Denver Nuggets.
Okay.
Especially we're seeing Aaron Gordon drop 50 points. So, they're filling in the gaps. They lost Michael Porter, right? He's with the Nets now. But I do think that before San Antonio is the actual rival of the Thunder, which I think will happen as these guys develop, as their young talent develops, as Wembanyama becomes a top 3, maybe top 1 player, then we're going to be having those conversations. But for right now, still the Timberwolves and still the Nuggets. Those are the 2 teams to me that are still together, have been proven. And, even Dallas. Some could even argue that Dallas is up there too.
Okay, so we didn't say anything about the California teams. Between LA and Golden State, I didn't even put Sacramento in there because they just dive in. So Sacramento, I'm sorry, Greg, they don't kind of count. You know what I mean? Sorry about that. Between Golden State and LA, which one you got?
Golden State over LA for sure.
And why?
And I know that we've got 2 all-time greats on the Los Angeles Lakers, but I mean, Steve Kerr and his system, all these guys that have been there forever, the culture that's in Golden State, I don't know. I don't see them. In fact, it's such a great culture and such a great coach, and just the key components are always there that they've been able to sustain for all this time. There's never been a downfall. They transitioned from one NBA championship to another, completely different style of play, minus a couple of guys that could shoot threes. So yeah, I definitely would take Golden State, and I didn't mention them because I don't know if they're going to be as good. I don't know if there's somebody over there like Steph Curry at the age he's at. I'm not sure there's an actual superstar in Golden State that can keep up with Jokic and Anthony Edwards with the amount of output that those 2 guys have with their team and their supporting cast. But still a great team, Nate. And yes, definitely taking Golden State Warriors over the Lakers this year.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and hopefully by the time we come back, LeBron James have retired. I don't know.
Well, if he's involved in any of these scandals, who knows? Maybe he'll have to. Maybe he'll be playing baseball like the last GOAT.
We're going to talk some scandals when we get back. And then who we got coming up, you said, Ryan? Give me that. We
have the star of the formerly on Netflix documentary, The 7-5. You all remember Michael Dowd. Okay. Some would say he's the greatest cop in the history of New York City. We're going to talk with my dear friend Mike Dowd after this, who's an expert in all things crime and has some great gambling stories to share with us to give us a little bit more insight as to what might be really going on behind the scenes with some of our favorite basketball players and sports figures. Look, Shohei, you're not innocent. We're going to get into all these things. Mike Dowd up next here on Fox Sports. What's going on? We'll be back soon, folks. And we are back. You are tuned into Fox Sports Rochester here in the Western New York area, and they really try to just take us out. I mean it. Seriously. This is Ryan Verneuille, but Last segment, it was myself and the host, Nate Brown Jr., who strangely disappeared due to technical difficulties. And of course, it just so happens when a guy who just might be on some type of government blacklist calls in to give us expert insight
You
into
can't.
this Chauncey Billups arrest and just tell us what the hell's going on. We need to peel some layers back here with
Yeah.
an actual expert. So, of course, I brought on the one, the only, the living legend and star of Netflix 7-5, the documentary, Michael Dowd, the greatest police officer in history, is here on
So,
Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mikey?
I'm humbled by your amazing introduction of my credentials and my world affecting magnitude of my 7-5 documentary, which actually was very spectacularly done. But yeah, this is a very serious topic you brought me in on today here, Ryan. And one of the things that disturbs me most is not that there's gambling. It's just that they act like this is something new, right? I mean, think about it, Ryan. How long? I mean, you're not on the planet as long as I am. I'm 64 now, right? I'm starting to show my age. I need a little neck work, they say. But anyway,
You look fine, Mike.
that being said, um, I mean, we can go back, Ryan, to the gambling of course, everybody knows the Pete Rose situation. Anybody who's followed sports, any sports gambling is aware of that. But, one of the interesting things that I've come across, and with a little bit of chagrin, was I had a moment to meet Keith Hernandez, probably about, I want to say 3 years ago, maybe four. And I'm a little embarrassed by my own actions, so I'll be upfront with it. And, Keith was known to do a little gambling himself. And, one of the guys I was rolling with at the time that I had done some podcast work with, we were sitting at dinner with in some posh Palm Beach location, and of course Keith Hernandez is there because he's known to be there, and I think he lives there in the winter, and we're with a young baseball player who's a college pitcher, and so he's a Met fan. So who's sitting there is Keith Hernandez, and I want to say, I forget his Kevin Edelson. Edelson. He was the shortstop for the Mets. I forget his exact last, Elderts or something like that. Anyway, he's a shortstop for the Mets in their championship run. He was like a part-time shortstop, but he was on the team and he was a significant part of it. Anyway, they're sitting there having dinner with these two women. I don't know if they're their wives or their dates or whatever, and or just friends. They could have been innocent friendships, just having dinner.
Yeah.
And so we tell this. I go up. I go, listen, guys, you mind? Because I'm bold. You mind taking a picture with this young kid? He's a pitcher. The local college, Palm Beach, West Palm Beach College, and they're like, sure, no problem. Keith gets up with the bad hip he's got because he hasn't had the surgery yet. He gets up, and long story short, they take the picture, and the guy I'm with, a little bit of a wise guy who was with he actually testified at John Jr. Gambino's trial against John Gambino, and there's a whole backstory to that which I don't want to get into. And he said to me that he has the check written by Keith Hernandez to pay for his gambling debt. So I don't know what became of me. I says, you know what? I showed the article. It's on our phone today. Everything's on your phone today. I show the article of how Keith Hernandez is mentioned in the trial of Gambino, of Gotti Jr., and how this fella was the guy testifying. Yeah, that I got a check from Keith Hernandez. So sure enough, and of course, my phone's clinging shit in now. I'm sorry. So he puts the. I show the girl sitting at the table. She goes, "Oh, show Keith. I'm sure he'll like it." So I Keith, I got to show you something. So I wanted to be incognito, but it was really a faux pas move. I show Keith the thing where it says Hernandez and the check and stuff, and he goes, "Ah, get out of here, get away from me."
Yeah, remind him of the darkest time of his life when he owes money to the mob.
Yes,
That's
yes,
a great way to start a conversation with Keith Hernandez.
yeah.
Show him his indictments or his
Yeah,
mentions in mafia indictments.
yeah. I
Unbelievable.
really,
Wait, so
yeah.
you're not insinuating that he was in any sense gambling on games like Pete Rose or, changing the way that the outcome of the game was to be for monetary gain?
I'm definitely not going to say that. He could have been gambling on basketball at the time. I don't even
Mm.
know what the check was related to. I was not that deep into the knowledge of what it was. But what I will say is this: all these things, you have to realize once you start allowing sports betting, there's going to be cheating. Okay. And as time has gone on, cheating has taken different levels. And I alluded it to before they cut us off at that beautiful posh location I was at in Southern California, by the way. Now I'm in a garage because I wanted to make sure we can get this thing done properly.
Appreciate that, Mike.
Yeah, I'm sorry
We like
about
that garage today.
yeah, the locale. But so with all the technology they have today, I mean, go back to the Houston Astros, right? Not too long ago, where the I forget Altuve, or I forget exactly the pronunciation of his little guy,
Altuve, when he was cheating, and
5'6",
allegedly all these guys were cheating. Yeah.
the signs were coming in. They were picking up the signals and sending it to him. I mean, it's almost so, and he's hitting home runs like at the key time of every game. It's not even like he's just hitting home runs. He's hitting home runs when they're needed. So, I mean, so the cheating has gone on forever. Is that about gambling? Not necessarily, right? Because I don't know that they were gambling on those games. Maybe they were. Maybe they weren't.
This to clear this up, Mike, because it hasn't really gone that deep yet. Where Chauncey Billups per se has been accused of changing the outcome of a game. Right. Due to some outside influence. But essentially what just happened was there was a large federal probe into an illegal gambling and poker scheme that involved multiple organized crime families. And essentially they were rigging high stakes illegal poker games. And they were using technology to do this, like by using modified shuffling machines that could read cards and x-ray tables that could see the cards face down, contact lenses and glasses to read marked cards, and even people giving hand signals off to the side. So it was a very elaborate scheme that it appears former NBA Chauncey Billups was kind of used as almost like a face to the operation so they could get away with it.
Yeah. Well, I guess I was laying the foundation that gambling's been around forever, and gambling in sports has been around forever. Sports figures, guys with lots of extra cash. I'll give you a synopsis. Ready? So I'm talking to a guy named Hollins. Hollins was a third baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies during their heyday when Lenny Dykstra had just gone from the Mets to the Phillies. And by the way, people don't realize Lenny Dykstra was a force to be reckoned with, believe it or not, whether it was steroids, whether it was the crack era, whatever it was. Lenny Dykstra was some character, okay? And he was actually one of the best players in baseball for that era. And people don't give him that credit because he's a little guy, right? But if you think about it all together, he hit damn near 300 every year. He hit 20, 30 home runs almost every year, triples, doubles, clutch as could be, so he really was something. Anyway, so I'm talking to Hollins. I'm in Clearwater, actually Dunedin area, Florida. I'm at some local cafe, and I'm talking to Hollins, and he tells me a story about Lenny Dykstra. And this has sort of what I'm getting at with gambling has been around for a long time. I know that this situation has to do with the crime families, and it has to do with the technology that they have today. But I'm going to give you an example of how it could have been even back then. So, because I'm old school, right? So Dykstra charters a plane. He's in Miami. They win, 6-3. Dykstra goes 2 for 4. Probably gets a home run. And the Phillies are on their way to a championship. But it was after they won their first one, and then so they're always in contention. They've been in contention since that day, And so Dykstra charters a plane to Bimini from Miami. They just won an evening game. So after an evening game, Dykstra generally at that time of his career doesn't play the day game. So he charters a plane to Bimini, 5 or 6 guys, including the coaches and the players, all the guys in that clique. They go over to Bimini. They gamble till 3, 4 in the morning, and they charter the plane. Dykstra charters a plane back for them, and Dykstra waits. He's playing, he's gambling, getting high, partying, probably who the hell else knows what he's doing over there. I don't want to say things that I don't remember in the story, but he's having a blast. It's now 11 o'clock in the morning. The game starts at 1. Dykstra lands right next door to the airport, next to the ball field in Miami. It's not really Miami, but Miami proper, that area. He shows up at the ball field about 12:15. The game starts at 1. Now, typically, Dykstra thinks he's not playing, but the manager wants to screw with Dykstra. Okay, Lenny, I'm sure if you can get Lenny on your show, he'll co-sign on this. Lenny walks in, because Hollins had no reason to lie. He tell me the story. He goes, Lenny walks in, looks at the lineup, and sees he's in center field. Now, it's going to be 120 degrees in Miami. There's no cover, right? And then he's like, this is bull. He's cursing, he's kicking, he's throwing stuff around. And then with that, he goes, I'll take care of this. So Lenny gets up to bat. Lenny's like bat second or third in the lineup, I think, at that time. He gets up because he was the key guy in the lineup. He gets up. Well, now Eric Gregg, the big fat black guy, he's famous. The umpire. He's been around for 20 years, and it's 120 degrees. So the pitcher on Miami grooves one down the middle, fastball. Dykstra starts yelling and screaming at Eric Gregg, "You fat SOB, you're blind, you son of a gun," back and forth. So, what is he doing?
Getting himself thrown out of the game.
Getting himself thrown out of the game. Next pitch.
Aaron Boone.
Next pitch, right down the middle. Strike. He turns around. He goes, "You're blind, you fat bat." He gave him every kind of name he could call him. Eric Gregg, back then they took the little whisk broom out. Eric Gregg, big monster of a man, walks around the front of the plate, looks at Dykstra. He bends down. He starts sweeping the dirt off the plate and goes to Dykstra. He goes, "It's 120 degrees, Lenny." He says, "I don't care what you say. You're playing the whole game."
That's great.
So had you had money on Dykstra that day, right? Like,
yeah, and that goes to show that just in general, why gambling just shouldn't be allowed at all in sports. I'm sorry. I know that it's such a moneymaker now. All of our shows, including this one, I'm sure have some type of gambling sponsor that's hitting us up with some money. But it is an absolute detriment to sports. And Mike, I hate to cut our time short, but it's that unfortunate time of the morning where the next show comes on here on Fox Sports Rochester. But for more Mike Dowd, it's important to go to the New Solutions Network YouTube channel, take a look at Organized Minds, and Storytime with Mike, some of his other great podcasts that are out now. And of course, just message the man on Instagram. He's a viral sensation. He's interactive. There's a community built around the Mike Dowd Instagram page. So don't meet us there, beat us there. Mike, appreciate the love and you calling us in. I know how busy you are, man.
We'll continue on. Thank you.
All right. And folks, thanks for listening to you as well. We'll be back next week, folks. Be sure to follow us online, Fox Sports Radio, WGO.com. What's going on sports on all social media platforms. And folks, we'll be back very soon. Enjoy your week. Love you. Peace.
Thanks.